Hello, I'm Malcolm Gallagher, and from the UK studios of BizVision, you're watching the BV-TV network. In today's altered world, I believe that business success comes with an added dimension. Yes, you need the usual aspects of a marketing position, a sound business structure, but you also need that something else that says not what you do, but who you are. Now, that comes in many forms. Here at BizVision, we believe it is consciousness. And my guest today can take us even further with her thoughts on spiritual techniques in business. This could be exactly what you need. So let's meet the film festival doctor, Rebekah Louisa Smith. Hello, Rebekah.
Hi, Malcolm. How are you?
Excellent. Lovely to talk to you. Although it's getting cold in Northumberland and, you know.
I imagine.
Yeah. Why can't you be in California? So do the interview in California, but that's, you know, that's where the films are. That's where the films are.
Absolutely, that's where it all happens in Hollywood.
Yeah. This Rebekah Louisa Smith BV-TV WebShow is in our usual web show 3 parts. In part 3, she'll tell us about finding and using spiritual techniques in business. In part 2, she'll talk about the need for a resilient business infrastructure and a strong sales pitch. And in part 1, she'll tell us about finding and growing our business niche. Rebekah, before we get started, though, on part 1, give us a brief overview of your business journey to date and an introduction to your book, Born to Do It.
So my business, the Film Festival Doctor, I never thought in a million years that I would actually be created or be running. My original plan that I thought I wanted to do, that I was advised to do, and other people said it was a good idea, was to live and work in the world of academia. And I did that to a point. I was studying for my PhD. I have a master's, I have an undergraduate, I have all of that. And it was during the time when I was doing my PhD that I had that aha moment, and without knowing at the time until later, but actually I tuned into my soul purpose. And that is what you're born to do and what you're put on this earth to do, you know, your calling, your why. And I realized that academia was not for me. And what I should be doing is working within the area of film distribution, that being film festivals. And my gift was helping people get their films seen in festivals around the world, which you've done now for the past 10 years and has great results and get great results every day. And that's how the book came about. Now, that was another accident. Everything that seems to go great in my life is an accident. So another thing that came out the blue, shall we say. But I did an interview with an Indian book called Unique. And they asked me to talk about my life story in over 10 questions, like a 10-page spread, quite an in-depth interview. And the publishing company read it, Butterfly House Publishing. And she said, have you ever thought about writing your own story to people to come and work with you? Because this is like a journey about how you fuse business principles and spirituality together, and through your story, how it worked. So I said, never thought of it, because I didn't really want to do any writing since the PhD, really. But then I thought, okay, well, I had the PhD, I know how to write, so I'll give it a go. And she was brilliant. She taught me just how to write a book. And it was very easy to do, because I'd written before, so it wasn't a hard job, but I loved doing it. And then the book came together because people gave me feedback on that interview and said, you know, you helped me on my journey, because I don't feel alone now that I know what I'm born to do, and also how to integrate spiritual principles in my business. I didn't know how to do that until now. So it's like I was supporting people anyway. So the book came about. So over the lockdown, the June time, I wrote the book, and it's all good to go. And it basically tells you how to tune into your soul purpose, find out what that is, and then create your first business using spiritual practices and business techniques.
Fascinating. And how long did it take you to write the book?
Not that long, because I devoted it like it was work. So I didn't do a whole, you know, we'll just do it when I want to do it kind of thing. It was more like a structure to it, because the publishing company said, if you can do it by these dates, it'll be available to publish and available to buy by the end of the year. So I did all the writing on it during June. It took about a month, because I did like 3 hours a day just to plan and write. And I didn't overwrite it. And then they took it over from there, and it's now available to buy in paperback and soon coming out on Kindle.
Excellent. Okay. Thanks, Rebekah. Now let's get down to part 1. You talk about the need to find your niche. Did yours come to you easily? What was the eureka moment? And how do my viewers go about discovering theirs? And why do they need to do it?
It's very important that you really tune into your soul purpose, so you know what it is that you're put on earth to do, because if you don't, you'd live be very unfulfilling and also not what you want to do. So, for example, a friend of mine who I also now work with, he hated his job. It was 9 to 5 in an office, pushing around fresh air and papers, no responsibility, no room to grow, just not very interesting. But it was money, and it was corporate money, so it just did the job. It was something he didn't like. His soul drained away. So I said, you can't do this forever because you're not enjoying it and your health's not good. And I said, what is it that you are most drawn to? What hobby can you do where you lose all track of time and forget lunch and dinner and just get really immersed in it? And he said, oh, I like to make candles. I said, well, surely there's a market there. I'm sure there's a market for candles. I mean, you've got like restaurants at night, you've got spas, you've got people's homes. So, there's definitely going to be something there you could do. And your candles are great because he does do very aromatherapy, like very lovely candles. So he said, I don't think I can. It's limiting belief. So I said, well, do your market research. So he got his niche like really drawn up, which was obviously candles, but then his area was aromatherapy. So then that linked into spas and all that kind of area and hotels and people's homes and those who are spiritually minded, to the point where he now has an Instagram shop and gets lots of orders and also supplies to local businesses because of the strong rapport he's built up and the reputation of the candles. And that other job he did doesn't do it anymore. So tune into that, your why and what you love to do that you could just literally not even get paid for because you love it so much, because it's just in your blood. That's your sole purpose. And that calling I got out the blue when I was working at Abattoir, the horror festival, it was like, wow, I feel myself now. I've come alive. I'm not shy anymore. And I can find out now what people want from me to do, for me to serve, which is helping them get their films and festivals. So you need to do that, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on the life you could live and be your best version of yourself.
I thoroughly believe exactly what you're saying, and that it can happen at any time in your life, even grey-haired people like me. Because earlier in the year and for the last few years, I've been traveling 20 to 30,000 miles a year, presenting events. That's driving, and then love the flying abroad. And then I couldn't do that. So since March, I've done 250 plus interviews, as you're kindly do with me today. So complete change. Absolute complete change. My wife doesn't quite like it because it was good when I was going away.
Now you're in the house.
She's the one that's getting anxiety. Okay, all right. Let's move to part 2: creating a solid business infrastructure and crafting a strong sales pitch. How and why do we do it? And what's your sales pitch?
So it's important to craft a very strong sales pitch, because although you know now what you're born to do and you know what you want to do and you love doing what you do with your business, before you can get a client, you've got to close a deal, and that is through a sales pitch. And it was my business coach, who I talk about in the book, who is like amazing what she did for me. She turned my business around within a week. She told me how to create a sales pitch. What she did mention, and what I noticed, and I was guilty of it, was that what people are guilty of, business owners, is that they start to throw information at a potential client, when really the crafting is that to build a strong and quick rapport is to make them speak at the time, telling them what their problems are and how you can help them is the other 20%. So you let them take the lead and you fill in where necessary, but also make them ask questions about you so it strikes up interest. So by the end of it, they feel the only way to move forward to solve their problem is to invest in you. So good kind of sales pitch always starts with an icebreaker, what kind of funny jokes and a good first impression. But to make it not just all about the one-liners, but you also have a short and snappy delivery, so it echoes long after that opening line. Like people say to me, "Oh, what does a film festival doctor do?" So I say, "We help you get your film in festivals around the world, help win awards, and get on the circuit." They're like, "Oh, well, I don't know how to do that. Can you do this? Can you do that? Do you do documentaries?" All those kind of questions were up. So I let them take the lead, and I say, "Yes, yes, yes, more than likely." Also fill in the gaps where they might have gone wrong. He said, "Well, I've sent it to festivals, so they're not getting in. Maybe they're the wrong ones for your film." "Oh, there are more than just other festivals that I've submitted to." "Yes." So again, it becomes that he's getting the trust really, "Oh, I can see she's what she's talking about. She's got experience. She does it every day, but also she's passionate." So then that becomes a conversation that then goes into a business pitch, and then becomes closing a deal on that day or a few days later. That's how you take it. And that's the way to close a deal, because if you end up, as I said, keep talking and throwing information at them, they don't take it in and it becomes lost. And also it's too much in too much of a time.
Yeah, people can easily talk themselves out of a sales book as well as talk themselves into it, can't they? Yeah.
And when you start taking yourself out of it, you don't get the client.
Yeah, I knew of one sales manager that many years ago, he was notorious for kicking his salesmen their shins under the table if they weren't closing the sale quickly enough. Okay. And now for part 3. Rebekah's book is called Born to Do It. And this aspect of using spiritual techniques is one I urge you to think about and consider. Don't dismiss it. We are in a new altered world. And of the 250 plus leaders I've interviewed since March, I know many of them are seeking what I would call new guidance. Consciousness is high on their agenda. Rebekah, tell us about your thoughts on spiritual magic that ignites acceleration.
So in the book, I talk about 3 areas of spirituality that I sprinkle over and integrate into my business infrastructure. And that is feng shui, cosmic ordering, and manifestation. Manifestation people are probably aware of who are watching this, but I manifest in a way that is very detailed so that it really aligns what I want with source. I can visualize it more clearly. Mm-hmm. Cosmic ordering is great because that's a bit different to manifesting. It's not the same, but it's where you literally place an order with the universe. It's not that common, but it's been around for ages. But I love doing that in the mornings in my routine. Because the way you cosmic order is you do it like you would in a restaurant. Like, what I really like to eat is pizza and chips and lemonade. You do the same thing, but an order. So the good one is a car parking order. I always like to start with those, so those people don't know it. So Ellen's technique is, what I really want is to get a parking space upon my arrival to County Durham High Street. At the end, you would say, for the good of all concerned, so that no one loses out for you to gain. When you say that, the angels put it into motion, you forget about it, you let go, and then you get the parking space. And that applies not just to car parking spaces, but absolutely everything. Nothing's within reason. It's got to be what you want, you're aligned with it, but also that you set the right kind of order. So I do it every day within business, in my routine. What my goals are, I want to close a deal today, then I ask some kind of deal be closed. And for certain things as well, I say about, getting new business leads each day. You say it in a way that's very fresh and clear, and your objective is there. And feng shui is a funny one because people say, how do you do that? So it's not just in the home feng shui, it's everything. It's about environment, energy, the whole lot. And the way I use it predominantly, besides my house and my office, is Marie Diamond's technique. She taught me this, and she actually endorses the book on the cover, which is really good of her. But she met me at a networking event, and it's a great story that's in the book, but a friend of mine introduced me to her, and she said, oh, your logo, yeah, I see you like it, but it's got low vibration. There's no color, it's all black, which doesn't access the abundant universe of colors. Secondly, is that the woman in your logo, she's actually turning her back to the wording. So it's like she's got back on the clients and she's not in the right direction. Energy's blocking it. So if you turn that around, that color, you'll get results. And she was right. So we added gold, we added red, and then we added her, the woman just turns her face round in alignment, and everything just went boom. And I didn't notice that. So I didn't know what that was until accessed that world through her.
Brilliant. I like that. That's really, really good. I'm just looking at your picture on the screen now. Then, are you in right alignment? Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm in the right alignment.
Rebekah, your thinking is both sound, but very much of the moment. Congratulations on Born to Do It. In this special BV-TV Rebekah Louisa Smith WebShow, I've been talking to the person who can empower the drive and ambition in you to create the business you desire. Thank you, Rebekah.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. You've been a star.